Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like over on Prizepicks for the Week 8 NFL slate. We're going to break down 3 props that I like for the Sunday slate of games. We're specifically just going to focus on Sunday. Not going to talk about any Monday Night Football props yet. I will have a separate video going out for Monday Night Football. That'll probably be out sometime later on Sunday night. Check that out if you're interested. But for this video, we're going to focus on the Sunday slate. 3 plays I like, guys, that we're going to talk about, that we're going to break down in this video. Now, as always, before we talk through these 3 plays, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they do help you out, just make sure to hit that like button down below, guys. Really do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, be sure to sign up. Use promo code NOAH. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, place your first lineup, you'll instantly get $50 in promo funds added to your account. So be sure to go check out Prizepicks if you guys have not yet. And also, we do have a partnership with Sleeper, so I do want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper. You guys can go sign up for Sleeper. Use promo code NOAH over there. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. So if you put in $100, Sleeper will match that, and they'll give you an additional $100 to play with. And if you don't know what Sleeper is, they're just a DFS pick'em app similar to Prizepicks. Really simple, easy to use. You just pick more or less on player projections. You build out your entry. You can mix and match sports on Sleeper. You can do like multi-sport entries. They offer a lot of the major sports like NFL, MLB, NBA, college football, NHL. All those sports are available over on Sleeper. So if you guys do want to go check them out, make sure to sign up. And again, use that promo code NOAH when you sign up for Sleeper. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But we got 3 plays to talk about for the Week 8 Sunday slate of games. Last week for Week 7, we did go 3-0 on the 3 picks we gave out last week, so hopefully we can keep that going this week. Haven't had a good week this week for just any other sports besides NFL. Like NBA's been pretty tough for me. We gave out some props for Thursday Night Football, did not hit those, but the Sunday slates have been kind of money for us lately. Let's see if we can keep that going here. Got 3 props I do like for the games on Sunday. So looking at the first prop that I like, we're going to take a look at a targets prop, and I'm liking Tony Pollard. We're going to take Tony Pollard for more than 3.5 targets. So Tony Pollard going to probably have a really, really big role on Sunday because once again, the Titans are going to be without Tyjae Spears. And if you look at last week without Tyjae Spears, Tony Pollard had a huge role just in terms of volume, in terms of playing time. He played on 89% of the offensive snaps, which was a season high for him. Julius Chestnut, their backup running back, only played on 11% of snaps. So Pollard was out there for almost the entire game, like he barely sat. And if you look at that game, it was a game that the Titans, never really had a chance to win that game. They lost 10-34 against the Bills. Tony Pollard still got 16 carries and had 6 targets in that game. And if you look at this season, Tony Pollard has had at least 4 targets in 4 out of 6 games. And he had 6 targets last week without Tyjae Spears. Without Tyjae Spears, that just opens up a lot of playing time for Tony Pollard because the Titans just don't really have any other running backs that they trust, that they want to give playing time to besides Pollard. So we can expect Pollard to be on the field for a large majority of the snaps. And even in a game script where the Titans get behind, Pollard's still going to be out there running routes, catching passes. They were in a negative game script last week. And again, Pollard had 6 targets, played on nearly 90% of the snaps. This week, they're going on the road to face the Lions. They're 11.5-point underdogs. This sets up as a game script where, the Titans are likely to be playing from behind. So in a game script like this, where Tony Pollard's going to be out there getting those checkdowns, getting those targets, I like him for more than 3.5 targets here. Just think this line is definitely too low on Pollard. Pollard's receptions prop, if you actually look at like sports books, every sports book, at least like the main sports books that I look at, like DraftKings and FanDuel, they have Tony Pollard's receptions prop set at 3.5. It is slightly juiced towards the under, but on Prizepicks, we're getting his targets prop at 3.5. There's easily scenarios where Pollard doesn't get 3 or 4 catches, but still gets 4 targets. Like week 1, he had 4 targets, only 3 catches. Week 3, against Green Bay, he had 3 catches, but 4 targets. And then last week, he only had 2 catches last week, but he had 6 targets. So like he was getting the volume. The efficiency wasn't really there. With Mason Rudolph at quarterback, I don't really know if the Titans want Mason Rudolph dropping back and throwing a bunch of deep balls and, taking shots like that. I think they want, or Mason Rudolph himself, he probably is going to be looking for those checkdowns, and that was the case last week, with Tony Pollard getting 6 targets. So I do like Tony Pollard for more than 3.5 targets as our first prop for Sunday. And then the next prop I like, we're going to take a look at a Spencer Rattler prop, and I'm liking Spencer Rattler for more than 202.5 passing plus rushing yards. So We've only seen Spencer Rattler make 2 NFL starts this season, but he's gone over this line in both of those. Had 270 pass plus rush yards against Tampa Bay. In that game, I want to say he threw for like 240 yards. Threw for 243 yards, and then had 27 rushing yards. And then last week against Denver, had 172 passing yards and 34 rushing yards. Rattler has shown an ability to be a good runner. He's been scrambling. He had 4 rush attempts in their game against Tampa Bay, had 5 rush attempts against Denver. So not only is Rattler throwing the ball a ton, you look at his pass attempts so far this season, 40 and 35 pass attempts. Not only is he throwing the ball a ton, but he's also scrambling and he's running. So I like adding the pass plus rush yards here for Rattler. If you look at his pass yards line, that's set at 183.5. His rush yards is set at 20.5. You add those two together, that comes out at 203.5. And actually, you look at like sports books, DraftKings currently has Rattler's passing plus rushing yards line set at 210.5, and we're getting it at 202 on Prizepicks. So we're definitely getting a softer line here on Rattler's passing plus rushing yards. Actually, his passing yards line was set at 174.5. That line got bumped up to 183, but they didn't bump up his passing plus rushing. So that's kind of why I like taking this one, because I think this is where the value is. And again, Rattler can give us yards as a runner. He's obviously shown the ability to do that with 27 and 34 rush yards. Now, this matchup against the Chargers is probably not the best. The Chargers have been a very good defense this season, but this is a spot where, once again, the Saints are probably going to be forced to throw. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going on the road to face the Chargers as 7-point underdogs. So I don't think we're going to see, I don't know how much the Saints are really going to have success running the ball. The Chargers have been really good against the run. I just don't know how many run plays they can stand before they are kind of forced to air it out. Because if they're going to be forced to air it out as 7-point underdogs, we should definitely have a good chance of getting, 180, 190 pass yards from Rattler, and then he could probably easily add on 10, 20 rush yards as well. Again, the passing volume's been there, 40, 35 pass attempts. He's been getting some carries as well. He's been scrambling for rushing yards. And it is worth mentioning that the Saints are going to be getting back Chris Olave this week. So getting Chris Olave back should definitely help Spencer Rattler. I mean, last week he had to play without Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Now, Rashid Shaheed's out for the season, but at least he'll be getting Olave back here. So getting Olave back should definitely help. Matchup, probably not the best, but I think we're just going to see Rattler forced to throw, going on the road, 7-point underdog. Saints going to likely be playing from behind. And again, there's value on this play. You look at every sports book right now. Every sports book has this pass plus rush yards line set higher than 202.5. We're getting the lowest line over on Prizepicks. So I do like that as our second prop for Sunday. And then the third and final prop that I like is going to be a Javonte Williams prop. And I was kind of debating. I was going back and forth on what I wanted to take here. I like Javonte Williams for more than 64.5 rush yards. I also like him for more than 14 fantasy score. You look at Williams' game log this season, he's gone over this fantasy score line in only 2 of his last 5 games. He's also only gone over his rush yards line in 2 out of his last 5. You look at the game where he barely went under his rush yards against the Raiders. In that game, he had 61 rush yards. In that game, though, for fantasy, he did go over fantasy. So, it's tough, But then again, the game against the Jets, he only had 10 fantasy points, but he had, 77 rush yards. So, there's definitely scenarios where he goes over rush yards, doesn't go over fantasy. There's definitely scenarios where he goes under rush yards, but still goes over fantasy, especially if he gets a touchdown or if he catches some passes. And Javonte Williams is a good pass catcher. He gets a lot of volume in the passing game. So I think I like taking the fantasy score the most here for Javonte Williams. And let's just kind of talk through this prop and why I like this one. So, the easiest part to talk about here is the matchup. You look at the matchup against the Panthers. This is probably the best possible matchup you can get for a running back. You look at the Panthers this season against the running back position, and they pretty much give up the most yards, touchdowns, everything. They're giving up the most yards to running backs. They've given up 13 total rushing touchdowns, which is the most in the league. In terms of their passing game, stats, I think they've just kind of been a middling team in terms of what they've allowed in the passing game to receivers, but they're giving up the most fantasy points per game to the running back position. So this definitely feels like a spot where Javonte Williams should be able to be pretty efficient on the ground. Denver as a team should be able to move the ball down the field, should be in scoring position a lot. So Javonte is definitely going to have chances to get a touchdown here. I like just taking the fantasy score because it just kind of gives you more outs. If you take touchdown, obviously you're strictly betting on Javonte scoring a touchdown, whereas with fantasy score, you don't need a touchdown for Javonte to go over this line. He could run for a bunch of yards. He could get a bunch of catches, which that's something that he can do. You look at his game log this season. he's been getting a good amount of volume in the passing game. The last 3 games, he's had 6, 6, and 3 targets so far this season. In all their games, 2, 5, 4, 3, 6, 6, and 3 targets. So the volume is there in the passing game. And then in terms of what he's getting as a runner, especially as of late, he's been getting a lot of volume on the ground. 16 carries, 13 carries, 6 carries, and then 14 carries in their last 4 games. The game he got 6 carries against the Chargers, I'm pretty sure that was a game script where Denver was playing from behind, so they were forced to throw a bunch. But like in games where Denver gets a big lead, they'll just feed the ball to Javonte Williams. So even like 14 rush attempts, I don't mind. Like I definitely think there's scenarios where Denver gets a big lead and you're just going to see Javonte Williams getting fed the ball. I mean, he's gotten at least 14 rush attempts in 2 out of his last 4 games. The games that they've won big, though, he had 13 and 14 rush attempts. Did have 16 against the Jets. There's just a lot of plays I like here for Javonte Williams, but fantasy score I think is definitely my favorite. And they just bumped that the line on Rattler, so that's kind of annoying. Prizepicks bumping stuff as you make content. It's what it is, but yeah, 205.5 pass plus rush yards for Rattler. I still think it's okay. The line got bumped up 3 yards literally as I was recording this video. Still think it's okay at 205.5. I think the line should be about 210.5. That's where most places have it, so I'm still fine playing that. But I do like this Javonte Williams play. Is our 3rd and final prop for Sunday. Just think it's a great matchup here for Javonte Williams. Expecting him to get a lot of volume, on the ground and as a pass catcher. And I think he's got definitely a good chance to get into the end zone because Denver should be in scoring position a lot and should have plenty of chances for Javonte to punch one in. And if you do look, or if I looking at projections, I like to compare projections around the industry to Prizepicks fantasy projections and kind of make some decisions that way. And the NFL projections that I look at, they have Javonte Williams projected for a little bit over 16 fantasy points. I definitely think at 14, this line looks pretty good. I would play this up to like 15.5, 16. So those are going to be our 3 props for Sunday, guys. We're going to roll with Tony Pollard, more than 3.5 targets. Spencer Rattler, more than 205.5 pass plus rush yards. Again, that line was at 202.5. Got bumped as I was recording this video. Still think it's okay to play at 205.5. And then Javonte Williams, more than 14 fantasy scores. So it's what we got for Sunday, guys. We'll see if we can go 3-0 again. Went 3-0 on our last plays for the Sunday slate. Let's try and do that again here. If you guys want to play these straight up just as a 3-pick, that's fine. I do recommend, though, typically avoid playing 3-pick entries on Prizepicks because the payouts on 3-pick are not good compared to what you can get elsewhere. I would recommend probably adding a couple plays to these, doing a 5 or a 6-pick, but it's, again, it's totally up to you. These are just 3 plays that I like that I want to share with you guys, and you can kind of choose how you want to play them. But that's all that I got, guys. Good luck as always. Appreciate you watching the video, supporting the content. Again, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, go check them out. Sign up. Use promo code NOAH. Place your first lineup. You'll get $50 instantly added to your account when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code. But that's all that I got, guys. Good luck. Let's make some money this week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.